Today, we're going to dive into this really fascinating story about how an ancient community structure is getting a new life online. It's all about how a tiny digital seed can grow into a global forest of connection and care.
So let's just start with this question. We often think of technology as something that pushes us apart. But what if it could be the very tool we use to build deeper, more meaningful communities? What if you could build a village one click at a time?
You see, the inspiration for this whole idea comes from something very old, the barangay. In the Philippines, this is the most basic unit of a community. And it's so much more than just a neighborhood. It's a whole system of mutual support, local governance, and shared culture that's been around for centuries. Now, imagine taking that deep, powerful sense of tradition and community and plugging it right into our hyper-connected world. Well, that's exactly what's happening here. Okay, so let's get into the first big idea. This isn't just another online group. You have to think of it as a ceremonial village in cyberspace. And that's really the key here. This isn't a Facebook group for chit-chat. It's designed to be a living, breathing virtual hub. It actually mirrors the traditional roles of a physical barangay, but adapts them for how we interact online. Think of it like a digital town square, where new people are welcomed, real-world tasks get organized, and achievements are celebrated, all in a way that makes taking care of your community's stewardship a real source of pride, especially for young people.
Okay, but you might be wondering, how does a digital village actually become a force for good in the real world? Well, that's what this ceremonial blueprint is all about. It maps out the whole journey, from a simple online idea to a fully functioning hybrid system.
And what's so brilliant is that this isn't just some random process. It's a very carefully planned ceremonial journey. You can see the whole pathway is mapped out, showing exactly how a simple prototype can scale up and up and up, all the way to a global network connecting communities across the entire world. So let's look at how it starts. It begins small with what they call a whisper, just a simple online space, maybe on Telegram or Facebook. Then comes this absolutely critical phase, activating the youth. They're not just given chores, they receive sacred tasks and earn badges. It turns work into a real rite of passage. And then, finally, the bridge opens to the diaspora, inviting Filipinos and their allies from all over the world to jump in with their stories, their resources, and their support. This right here, this is where the magic really happens. This is where the digital world meets the physical. An online petition for tenant rights, that turns into a real-world advocacy campaign. Someone gets a digital scroll outlining a task, that leads to a team of young people actually going out and repairing a community space. Earning a virtual badge is directly tied to, say, planting a real garden. It's a seamless flow from the screen to the street. And this brings us to the people at the very heart of this movement, the stewards. We're going to look at how their individual actions connect to a much, much larger global purpose. So how do you get people involved? You make it easy for them to see where they fit in. And this project does that brilliantly by defining 3 distinct levels of stewardship. It creates a really clear and powerful way for pretty much anyone to participate, no matter how much time or energy they have. So, what are these roles? Well, at the foundation, you have the keepers of home. They focus on their own household and their immediate environment. Then you have the builders of corridor. They extend that circle of care to their neighbors and the wider community, literally weaving people together. And finally, you have the bearers of legacy. These are the folks who carry the vision forward, mentoring others and helping this whole movement grow and replicate. Each role is treated as sacred and totally essential. But here's the thing that really ties it all together. None of these actions happen in a vacuum. Whether it's something as small as planting a flower box or as big as mentoring a new member, every single act of stewardship is intentionally linked to a much larger purpose. And that purpose? It's global. This isn't just a feel-good local project. Its entire pathway is designed from the ground up to align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. Think about it like this. When they do those beautification projects, that's directly contributing to sustainable cities. The digital scrolls and the mentorship, that's providing quality education. And by connecting the diaspora with local youth, they're helping to reduce inequalities. This framework shows everyone, partners, funders, you name it, that even the smallest local action is part of a globally recognized blueprint for building a better world. All right, so this brings us to the grand vision, the big picture. How does this single digital seed grow into a massive, thriving global forest of interconnected communities? The success of this whole thing really hinges on three core principles. First, ceremonial logic. It's about making every single digital action meaningful. A click isn't just a click, it's part of a ritual. Second, it's faith-rooted, using sacred traditions to ground the community in something real and timeless. And maybe most importantly, youth pride. This completely flips the script on community work. It's not thankless labor. It's the honorable act of building a legacy. So when you boil it all down, what is this, really? It is so much more than just an app or a website. It's a blueprint. It's a replicable model that any community, anywhere in the world, could take and adapt to foster care, inspire its young people, and build a lasting legacy.
There's a quote from the source material that just nails it perfectly. From pixel to prayer, badge to blessing, Bronx to magic. It's about transforming the smallest digital action, a single pixel, into a meaningful prayer. It's about a digital badge becoming a real-world blessing. And it's about connecting communities no matter how far apart they are.
Ultimately, this whole model shows us that technology doesn't have to be cold and isolating. It can be a sacred tool for connection and care. And that really leaves us with a question for ourselves, doesn't it? What sacred seeds are just waiting to be planted in our own digital worlds?